Hey guys, it's Joe from AmericanTrucks, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Barricade HD off-road front bumper with LED fog lights, fitting all 18 and newer F150s, excluding the Raptor models. Now, this is going to be a great option for you if you're looking for an awesome, aggressive-looking, budget-friendly front bumper that is really tough and packs a lot of features at a reasonable price. So right off the bat here, what is the Barricade HD made out of? Well, this is 5/32 inch cold rolled steel, which we're gonna put this next to the factory bumper in just a second, and you're gonna see just how much of an improvement in durability this new bumper is gonna be to the front end of your truck. But suffice to say, that steel plate is going to be extremely tough and gonna provide the most protection for the front end of your F-150. Now, it's finished in that durable two-stage black powder coating, which is not just there to add to the looks, albeit it does give it that sort of stealth fighter front bumper look on your F-150. If you're going for the blackout look, this is gonna be a perfect option for you, but that powder coat is also going to serve as a layer of protection against the elements over top of that steel. Now, I mentioned earlier that this thing definitely has the looks. I compared it to a stealth bomber, which I think definitely fits the motif here. There's not a right angle on this thing except for where the lights poke through, and that sort of gives it that aggressive military look that looks so awesome on the front of our lead foot gray 18 F-150. So it's got the construction, it looks the part, but it's also designed with off-roading in mind. On the ends here, you can see this tapers up, which is gonna help improve your approach angle, make it a little bit better when you're off-roading, a little bit easier to get a tire over an obstacle you're trying to go over with your truck. Now, speaking about utility off-road, this kit also adds some extra LED lighting for the front of your F-150. What comes in the kit with this? Two 5-watt CREE LED light cubes. They're 3 inches, polycarbonate lens up front, very shadow resistant, aluminum housing at the back, great for cooling. You're gonna make sure that these last as long as they should last. They're completely IP67 waterproof as well, meaning these can withstand up to a meter of water for half an hour. And most importantly here, completely plug and play. So you plug these in, completely reversible. The harness even includes a switch to go right into the cab of your F-150. And all in all, these are gonna come in at a color temperature of around 6,000 K. That's going to be a very nice bright white, leaning very, very slightly toward the blue side. And again, a huge upgrade over factory. Now, as far as lighting goes, those 2 cube lights are all this kit includes. But if you wanted to take it a step further, you could even pick up a light bar, and you have 2 choices to mount that. Barricade gives you both mounting brackets in the kit here. You could either mount it right on top of the bumper right here, or in this section right in the middle here. And if you don't have one, you could see the kit includes these nice grills for you to clean up the looks a little bit and cover up that space. And if you wanted to take that another step further, you could even flank that with 2 cube lights on either side of the light bar. So jumping into features here, this kit does keep a lot of stuff from the factory front bumper that a lot of other front bumpers out there on the market do not retain. I'm talking tow hooks. This kit does include a front plate mounting bracket. We didn't install that. Depending on where you live, your state either requires it or not, so you have the choice of running that bracket or not. Nice touch from Barricade there. If your truck is optioned with adaptive cruise control, Barricade offers at an additional cost a relocation bracket to get that to work with this bumper, and other features here that you could also build on this bumper with. Barricade even offers an optional overrider hoop, which would go right over top, over the grill here, and a skid plate for the lower part to make sure you get the most protection for this truck. And it's gonna be designed specifically to work with this Barricade HD front bumper. And if you really wanted to tie the look together, obviously Barricade even offers the matching rear bumper. Now, as far as this front bumper goes, we're looking at around 650 bucks, and that's for everything you see right here and everything you need to get it installed on your truck, which is one heck of a deal for a bumper like this one. High quality construction, the looks are awesome, fit and finish is there. Build quality is really up to snuff with this one. I think it's a small price to pay. You really are getting a lot for your money here, and definitely well worth. This is one of my favorites on the market for the newer generation F-150s. The install, not too bad either. Again, like I said, fit and finish is really on point here, so there's no cutting, no trimming to get this to fit right out of the box. This thing bolts up right as you see it with no hassle here. but it is a little bit heavy, and for that, I'm gonna give it an easier 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. At most, if you come with the right tools, I think this will take you about 2 hours. So without any further ado, let me show you what tools you'll need and how it's done. Tools required for this install are going to include an impact or a ratchet, small extension, 10mm wrench, 21, 13, 10, and 8mm sockets, a trim panel removal tool, and these 2 Allen keys for the lights, which do come included in the kit. So for this install, we're gonna have to loosen up and take off our front bumper here, and for that, we're gonna need a 21mm socket and a small extension. We're gonna loosen up some nuts underneath of our front bumper and unplug our fog lights to start off. And the nut we're looking for is just gonna be toward the outside edge of the frame rail. And again, this guy is a 21mm. Now we're just gonna come to the left a little bit here, and we're just gonna grab our fog light and twist it out. Now we're just gonna reach up to our fog light, and we're gonna pull the 2 tabs on the back of the harness to release it, and then we can pull that wiring harness away. Now we can come over to the other side, do the same thing. We're gonna remove that nut and then unplug our fog. So now we can attack the hardware from the front here, and it is hidden behind these plastic pads. They're held in with some metal clips. So I'm just going to pry on them with the trim panel removal tool. You can also use a flathead screwdriver here. Just be careful of the paint on your truck. Maybe wrap it in some electrical tape, something like that. But with that said, I'm just gonna take the trim tool, get underneath, give that a good pry. It should pop right off. Now I'm gonna come over here, do the same thing for the other side. This corner right here is a good place to pry as well. It's kind of got a notch cut out of it that's perfect to get underneath of. Now we're gonna remove those 4 nuts, 2 on each side, and again, 21mm socket here. And as you're doing this last one here, this is the last thing holding on your bumper, so put a knee on it, and then you can remove that as well and pull the bumper away. So before we drop our new bumper onto our F-150 here, a couple of things we need to take care of first. That's mainly our mounting brackets, and what we're gonna start with here, our LED lighting situation. Now this kit does come with cube lights for the outside. We're gonna drop those in just a second. What we're gonna start with is this area right in the middle here. This is for a light bar if you have one. Brackets are included, however, no light bar comes in with this kit. What we're gonna do in this case is put in these filler plates right here. These are gonna secure with the button head bolts and 10mm flange nuts in the kit. So one thing I am doing here is, just in case you can see through this grate, I'm gonna make sure the button heads of the bolts are on top, just clean up the look a little bit. Now, once we get them in place, we could come in with the Allen key that's included in the kit, as well as a 10mm wrench, and we could tighten these down. And there are plenty of these for you to do. Now, we're also going to drop these smaller filler plates in on the sides. And again, this is just for some more optional LED lighting and just to clean up the looks. We're just going to hit the same thing on the other side as well. So now we have the light bar portion finished up. We're gonna work on the cube lights that come in this kit. This isn't too bad to do. What we're gonna do here is just take our mounting bracket. You can see this has a little notch cut out of it. You wanna make sure that is going to be facing forward because this light is gonna be hanging down. That's gonna basically give you the most movement up and down out of this light. Now, how this works is we're gonna put it in between the fins like so. And then what we're gonna do is grab one of the nuts in the kit and we're just gonna drop that down. And that gets caught by the fins. There's a little notch cut out of that in a hexagon. Then we can come in with the bolt from the side. And that is going to thread right in. And then same thing goes on the other side. We're just gonna drop that nut down there. And then come in with the bolt and get that started. Then we can use the Allen key that comes included with these lights to snug up our bracket. That is one done and ready to go on the truck. We're just gonna do the same thing for the other side as well. So again, we're just gonna put our bracket down and then we're gonna slide the nut down the bracket and into the fin that's cut out for it, and that's gonna hold it still. Then we can come in with the bolt. And that is looking pretty good. Just gonna flip this around and do the same thing. So next we're going to install our LED lights to the outside, and if you don't want them, the kit still includes these filler plates which you can fill those holes with, but you bought the kit with LED lights, so in this case we are gonna install them. Now they're gonna sit right like that, and in order to do this we're gonna take these bolts that come in with the lights and we're just gonna feed them through our mounting bracket and then up through the mounting point, and the bracket on our light is actually gonna hold that bolt head still for us while we thread on our 13mm nut. So now we're just gonna line that up and tighten it down with our 13mm socket. So we're also gonna do the same exact thing on the other side as well. Just gonna drop that in a little crooked for now. Put on our lock washer, 13mm nut. And then again, we can tighten it down with our socket right after we get it nice and lined up where we want it to be. So now our bumper is almost there. We just want to steal these mounting brackets as well. This hardware, this bolt plate right here came off of our F150. We're just going to install it onto our new bumper as well. This is going to make getting it onto our truck a lot easier, especially with these plastic washers, which they're gonna hold it still while we get this lined up with the frame rail. So the bolt plate installs there, and then this guy right here, this bolt with this flange on the head, is going to come to the side here and basically get the same treatment. Same exact thing goes for the other side as well. So our new Barricade bumper is pretty much ready to be installed on our F-150 over here, but before we do, I figured now would be the perfect time to set it down on the floor next to our old factory bumper, point out some of the differences and the key improvements that our new Barricade is going to be making for our truck. Now, the first and most obvious, it's going to come in the looks department. We're dishing this factory bumper that's body colored. It's got a lot of plastic on it for some awesome steel construction and the black powder coating on there. That thing is gonna look great on our leadfoot gray 18 F-150, and it's gonna kind of give it that aggressive stealth fighter sort of look to it. I really like the angles that Barricade has going on. I think it's gonna be a great piece for the front of our F-150. So you probably agree with me. If you're watching this video, you probably like the looks of the Barricade over here, but does it have the construction to back it up? Well, first of all, the whole thing is 5/32 inch steel plate, which is definitely gonna be an upgrade in terms of durability over our factory bumper, but it's also designed with off-roading and putting this thing to the test in mind. Now, what I mean by that is our Barricade here, it tapers up the ends, right? And that's for something called approach angle. Now, you want as much approach angle as you can get when you're doing some off-roading. Basically, that is going to allow you to get your front tires up on an obstacle easier when you're crawling over it, right? Our F-150 front bumper over here from the factory does not have a lot. If you look at the corners, we got that air dam along the bottom. That basically makes this thing one big rectangle, not exactly what you want for off-roading. So our Barricade is gonna be better in that regard as well. So with that said, I figured next we could speak about some utility here, and starting with one of the biggest ones, those LED fog lights. Again, improving the looks drastically over our factory fog lights. These are reflector style housings, a little bit old school out of the 18 F-150. Those LEDs are gonna help improve the looks, gonna throw out more light. They're gonna be that bright white color rather than this, which is kind of white with a little bit of yellow mixed in. So overall improvement in the looks. You're getting more light out of the front of your truck, so the utility goes up as well. Now, speaking about utility, one thing I really like about the Barricade, how many features it keeps from the factory front bumper. Now, just to run through the list here, you're keeping your tow hooks. If your state requires the use of a front plate, there is a bracket included. We didn't install it, but it is there if you need it. And also, if your truck is optioned with adaptive cruise control, there's a relocation bracket that is not included in this kit, but you can pick it up on our website as well, and that will allow you to keep that feature on your F-150 with this new Barricade bumper. Now, a couple of features that you are gaining that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do with the factory bumper. Skid plate specific for this bumper that is out there, however, not included in the kit. Overrider hoop, again, an optional extra. It is out there, not included with this kit, but if you wanted to build on it, those options are out there for you. And lastly, and most obviously, the light bar here, you can mount that either in or on top of that Barricade bumper. Both of the brackets are included in the kit if you wanted to run that, but again, no light bar included in the kit from Barricade. So without any further ado, we already have everything pretty much installed on our Barricade. We installed our mounting brackets, those bolt plates. We're ready to go. All we're gonna do is drop this onto the frame rails on our truck and secure it with the 21mm nuts. Okay, so our bumper started. I'm just gonna reach up underneath and get a couple of nuts on there just to keep it from falling on us. And then we'll get the rest of the hardware in place and tighten it down. So now we're just gonna put the rest of the hardware on. We got the truck back in the air. So now we're just going to align our bumper and tighten down this hardware. These ones at the top, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty tough to get to. So if you got a short 21, you might be able to get it with the impact gun, but in our case, I'm just gonna use the 1/2-inch drive ratchet to tighten these down. So now we're gonna jump over and do the same exact thing for the other side as well. Now we do have a little bit more room for this last inside nut here, so we're gonna jump back to the impact for that. So before we call this one a wrap, we do need to do some wiring. This is gonna be the plug and play harness for our fog lights. This is gonna be real easy. You can see these two contacts right here. These are gonna go onto our battery terminals. Obviously, this is a relay. We're gonna mount this up somewhere in our engine bay here. This has a switch, which we need to get into the cabin of our truck. And then these two plugs right here are gonna feed down to our fog lights. So we're gonna start with the contacts here. We're gonna loosen up these battery terminals with a 10mm socket, put those underneath, and then reinstall. So we're gonna remove that nut from our negative terminal and then put our contact down on top. And then we can reinstall. So we're gonna come over to the positive terminal here. We're gonna do pretty much the same exact thing. We're gonna remove that nut, slide our contact down, and reinstall. Now, if this does spin on you more than it should be, all you have to do is grab the trim panel tool, and if you press up on this, that bolt should hold still for you. But you wanna make sure the contact on the actual post on the battery here does stay all the way down. Next, we're going to install our relay under this ground right here. Now, this doesn't have to be installed to a ground, but usually that's a really easy spot to install it to. So that's where we're gonna go. We're just gonna remove that bolt with an 8mm socket and then feed it through our relay. And I'm just gonna make sure that's nice and tucked away from any moving parts here, and tighten back down. So now we have a couple more wires here, these plugs for our fogs and this switch. We're gonna feed our plugs for the fogs all the way down right in front of our battery. This is a good spot for them that I find, and our switch is just gonna go all the way across the firewall over to the driver's side. So now for our switch, we're just gonna feed this across the firewall like I said earlier. Now behind the air box here, past all this electrical stuff, you're gonna find this rubber grommet for the harness that goes into the cabin. I'm just gonna push that in, then feed our switch through, and then pull it back out to lock it in place. Okay, so actually I'm gonna pull it toward me. That pops it open a little bit easier. And then in goes the switch, and I'm just gonna pull that through from the other side and lock in our grommet. So now we could reach in the footwell and pull our switch through. This does have some adhesive on the back, so you can mount this wherever you want to. Gonna peel that away. Now, we're gonna mount that up at the plastic that doesn't have the texture on it. That's going to ensure that this sticks as best as it can. And then we can reach up underneath, and I'm just gonna pull on that harness to reseat that grommet. So now all we have to do is plug our fog lights into the harness and wire manage our cables. Now guys, that is gonna do it for my review and install of the Barricade HD off-road front bumper with LED fog lights, fitting all 18 and newer F150s, excluding the Raptor models. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this one. Keep it right here at American Trucks for all things F-150.